Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, today we are joined with actress, model, champion of change, and author of Our Special Lunch, Cherise Ncube.
Hi guys.
Little shameless plug, she is my little sister. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about her book, Our Special Lunch, which has been released, and I guess getting a little bit of an insight as to what inspired her to write this book and how we got here. So, Cherise, starting off super, super light, do you mind sharing with us what Our Special Lunch is about and what drew you to write this book?
So basically, our special lunch is about school kids who travel across the globe through their foods, and they're sharing their cultures and cultural identity through their lunches. And it's basically just a book about respecting and celebrating difference and diversity. And what inspired me to write something like this was that I saw there was a gap in terms of teaching about diversity and difference being celebrated and how it should be celebrated within our community at a young age. And I think that as you grow older, you see that, oh, wow, people are still struggling to celebrate this and to embrace all of these amazing different cultures. So I think I realized we have to draw it back to where kids learn when they're most impressionable and, really assist that in terms of giving them something to read, something to enjoy, something lighthearted, just to immerse themselves in, which does show the celebration of difference and diversity.
All right. No, that's a really good answer, guys. She's 16 years old. Wow. I find that diversity and inclusion has actually become sort of like a buzzword, just in terms of getting numbers and people who look different. So this book is actually taking it that step further and celebrating that difference. So that's amazing, Cherise. I guess my next question is, how did you come across this like gap for this type of educational children's book, and why did you go or target specifically children?
Yeah, so I think just as an African Australian, a black African Australian, just you see it in your communities when you go outside, anything, there's always something said or, people avoiding you at the street, slurs used, everyone's experienced that. And I think that's a problem. And in order to help this, I was like, okay, something needs to happen. A change has to be made. And that's where the book came in, because I was like, okay, how are we going to approach this? How are we going to help people? And I think for me personally, it was a school experience, it was an in-school experience with these things where children from my cohort, children that I was thought to be friends with, would isolate me, make fun of me, belittle me, all because of the fact that I was black. And I think I realized, well, I'm only 13,
Yeah,
and
she
this is
was
happening to
13.
me.
She was
Like
13.
13. I'm literally like a child. So then I was like, okay, now this means that we have to go all the way back
Yeah.
to little children, real children, and something has to be changed in those age groups. So that's where I was like, okay, we need a cute little kids book, something that they can engage with and something that's still interesting but also educational. And that way, you're helping the community, you're helping that age group be able to accept and celebrate diversity and difference.
And I guess, Cherise, in our society, in the Australian context, how do you think issues of discrimination against difference, how do you think those issues are resolved often in this Australian context?
That's a big question. Now, I think that in this Australian society and in this context, there is a push towards accepting and embracing and celebrating diversity. But when it's done, when children are already like 12 and above, when they've reached high school, these children have already had impressions made. They've already created their own views and values.
And
And
perceptions.
perceptions,
Yeah.
yes. So it's very difficult to try and alter those when they're already there.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I really was like, we need to really get back to the younger age groups, because we need to set this idea of celebrating and embracing and just being joyous in terms of accepting
Yeah.
and loving different cultures,
Yeah.
different identities, everything from a young age, so that the views and values of celebrating diversity and difference is already there by the time they get to those older age groups.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think it is inspiring that you drew from your personal experience and you looked to solve the problem or to aid in solving the problem. So that's really quite inspiring. And as an older sister, I am so proud. Just to quickly touch on something that you said, I think the age that you experienced this sort of exhalation in school gave you a point or an age reference that you could draw on when you were writing the book. So that's really it informed that, because you knew you at that age, you were 13 and you're like, oh, I'm already experiencing this now, so we need to target even younger children. I think, Cherise, moving on, how long have you been writing for? Do you enjoy writing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, so basically it was around year 3 in primary school when I really started getting into writing, and I was a big fan of creative stories. I still remember, I still have some of my books from then, and I would write about a tongue taking over the world, weird stories like that. I was all into creativity, Candyland, where the world is candy and was sucked in portals, all of that weird stuff, That's
not weird. That's not weird. That's creative. That's unique.
Yeah, and I guess from that point on, that was really where I was like, wow, I really love this. I enjoy it. And I think even now, I'm in year 11 and I'm doing English language and literature. And as well as global politics, subjects that require writing. And I think just the joy I get from, learning about something, then writing it down and taking my own views, values, perspectives, and embedding that into my writing is just something you can't get from anything.
Even the way she just expressed that's that's a whole writer, guys. No, that's amazing. And I guess in the school context, I know English literature in particular, you get to put your own personal experience and taking a lens of past or whatever the context is, but also looking at it from the current lens.
Yeah, I think in literature that's a very important part of it, because it's not only because it was in 1948 you see this happening. It's also how does that create an impression on the reader as someone who's a 2022 reader? And how does what are the differences, what are the changes, what will be experienced when reading the book? And as well as even when you write an essay about a book, you always bring in your own personal experience, your own values, everything like that when you're writing about what you thought of the book, or review of sorts.
Exactly. And I think something really amazing about text and literature is it's up to individual interpretation, right? So if we're thinking about individual interpretation, how do you think this book, Our Special Lunch, is going to be interpreted?
Well, I'd love for it to be interpreted as something that really demonstrates diversity and difference, and how amazing it is to have all these different people with all their different perks, different unique values, different everything, because we're all different in our own ways. Even us, look at us. We look different, different styles, everything's different. So, but still we're able to be close, form bonds, and I think that's really important in our society. Just because someone's different doesn't mean you can't accept them and actually enjoy being with them and celebrate how you guys being different is a good thing. And I think hopefully that's the impression people get when they read this, and that it will give them an outlet to really show to others, hey, look at this book, this is about celebrating uniqueness, diversity, and difference.
And do you think 2023 is ready for that? Do we have to wait a little bit longer?
Oh, that's
do we gotta wait?
Question. We can never wait. Waiting won't do any good, and if we wait, nothing will be done, no changes will be made. So we need to help change, we need to help promote change, and we need to do what we can to make sure that stuff can happen. Yes, some people might not embrace the book, some people might not exactly enjoy it, but it being out there is half of the challenge anyways. And even when you look back, if you go to 1970s and their movements then, they were being progressive within their time, even though we look back and we're like, oh my gosh, what were they doing? But for their time, that was the progressive thing to be doing. So I
Yeah.
think we just need to keep pushing because every year something progressive is happening.
Exactly.
And
And we
it's
got
just
to
going to
keep
continue.
challenging, right? Challenging. And where there is comfort, there's no growth.
Exactly.
I mentioned to our viewers that Cherise is a model, Cherise is an actress, Cherise is a champion of change, Cherise is an author. Can you give us a little bit more about who else is Cherise? What else has she got going on? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, first off, thank you. But yeah, I think I just enjoy so many things, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
Like arts, I draw, I paint, sports, I do everything under the sun, athletics, swimming especially, cross country, even like now, even though I'm busy with everything going on, Saturdays, park run day, go for 5K with the fam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, she's got a whole book out and she's like, yep, 5K run. Huh?
I think it's just anything where there's a goal and there's an end result and I'm fighting to reach it. That's my cup of tea. That's what I enjoy, and that's a lot of things really. Even when you're painting, you have an end image you have in your mind that you want, and you work towards producing that. And I think it's the same even with this book here. I had the idea, I want to help be a part of the I guess change.
You want to be
just
part
the
of,
change. I want to help be part of the change that people in the future will look back at and be like,
You
wow.
want to help fight discrimination.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was my goal, I guess you could say. So then I was like, how can I do this? And that's where this came in. There was a large process.
It's upside down.
Yeah. There was a large process towards producing this, and a lot of thought went into it. A lot of, just work, really. But I enjoy that process, and just seeing it come together and seeing this end result really was just, it was an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
When I saw this come in the mail, I was like, oh my goodness,
you did it. You did it. It's out here. Your name is on the cover and everything.
Exactly. So I think it's just, pulling it back to the question.
Yeah.
Anything with an end result, end goal, and anything, I love the journey to it, achieving it. And that's just,
So is Cherise someone who likes to be challenged?
Exactly. I think that's the best way to put it. Someone who likes to be challenged.
Okay.
I love challenges.
We like that. And Cherise, given obviously like we are African and, we are Black Africans and we understand that for most African parents or for most migrants, they have this push for their children to be in like the medical field or in the engineering fields, like industries that have a reputation attached to them, right? And I guess it might be a bit difficult if you have parents like that to do something like this, to be creative, to be an author, to be a model, and you're such a creative person. And I guess my question for you is, do you feel like you had familial support when you're writing this book? And have your parents been a big part of this?
Yeah, I think for me, I can't exactly relate to the whole, push for engineering, science subjects, mathematics.
She's a whole artist. Look at her. Look at this carve.
My parents have been so supportive of everything, Of course, when they came here, their first thought was like, oh, my children are going to be some amazing mathematicians or engineers. And that obviously did not happen. But my parents, they went with the times, they came here, they saw all the different paths that you can choose, different ways of being successful in life and just doing what you want and what you're passionate about. And my parents jumped on the wagon and they're like, yeah, we love this. Rock and roll with the arts, go with it. And I think, I didn't have any issues in terms of choosing this path because my parents were so supportive of it.
And I think something about our parents that's amazing is I think that love trumps all, and that no matter what they might have thought you would do, if you're truly passionate about it and you're driven about it, there is that support, because they love you and they want to support you and be there for you. And I guess, Cherise, understanding that you don't have the lived experience of having parents who aren't supportive, what advice would you give to those people, children of migrant families or African families who want to delve into the creative industry but are being held back, or have a passion for something creative but are being held back by their parents? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, well, that's a tough one because obviously parents, you're very connected to them and, they've been there for your entire life. But if you're really passionate about something, I think it's so important to really go after that and really like fulfill that fire in you that you
Yeah.
have to produce something or do something
Yeah.
with that passion. And I think no matter what happens, I think you'll never be truly like happy or fulfilled if you don't strive to, fulfill that passion and really like do what you want. And I think passion is such a good thing. You can do amazing and wonderful things if you have passion. So I think you have to take advantage of that.
100%. And understanding that you might not have that network to start off with because you don't have the in-house familiar support to reach out. We're based in and there's a crazy creative network here and everyone's supporting each other, but to reach out to creators, to reach out to us, and try and build those networks so that you can express yourself in a way that you've always wanted to express yourself and fulfill this burning passion inside of you, because passion is quite beautiful.
Passion is beautiful. And I think even like you were saying, reach out. It doesn't have to be in real life.
Yeah.
Like we have all these online platforms.
Discord.
People online, Discord, people online looking to help people who have this feeling of, I want to do this, but I don't have support networks. There are people out there to assist you. And I think really just taking a step back and looking at the amount of people there who want you to fulfill that passion, and go online, find a group, because there are groups out there that would be more than happy to have you.
And I got a question for you, Cherise. Do you think that this book would have been able to happen without mom and dad's support, without a parental support?
For me personally, I don't think so, because at the end of the day, I'm 16. I'm in school. I'm in school. I need the support because I'm in school. I'm doing schoolwork a lot of the time, trying to keep my grades up. And mom and dad have been there in terms of like giving me options, and I don't have to surf the internet and stuff like that by myself because they're there to help me. So I think personally, I needed my support networks. But who knows? Maybe if I didn't have them, I would have figured something out. But I just
She's
think
tweaking. There ain't no way.
I just think they played too much of an integral role in the production of this book.
So shall we do a special thanks to mom and dad?
Yes.
Thanks, mom and dad.
Thank you for everything, because they've done a lot for both of us, for everyone, all of the children.
And I think this is a perfect note to end our interview on. Thank you, Miss Cherise Ncube, author of Our Special Lunch, for being my interviewee today. And thank you for shedding light on such an impactful book, for writing such an impactful book, and for being part of the change. So I'm so proud. If you would like to support Cherise and Our Special Lunch, Cherise, would you like to share some of your socials or where you can find this book with us?
I think we'll just link them. I have TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, a website, you can hit the Amazon page, anywhere.
You can support this book and support this great cause and support the next generation to be more informed.
I really want this book to reach as many little hands as possible, because I think it can really do great things, and I think they'll enjoy it.
Amazing. Our Special Lunch by Cherise Ncube looks like this. And thank you so much, guys, for engaging with this. And thank you once again, Cherise. And we hope you have a lovely day.
Thank you guys so much.